It's Thursday, 11 o'clock. It's time for this week's Watch Drop. I'm back from holiday this week, and firstly I want to say a huge thank you to Ollie for stepping in last week. I really loved that video, so thank you very much. The theme for this week is yellow gold. We covered this off I think a couple of times before, but this week for whatever reason we have some remarkable yellow gold pieces in stock and I'm really excited. So I'm going to run through a few of my favourites. Again, it's a bumper drop, more than 100 watches and more than £1 million. So I was sport for choice, but let's get stuck in. The first watch I'm going to talk about today is one that I've seen many times before, but not actually yellow gold. It's the Langematik Perpetual, reference 310021. Well, the first thing to say is that this is an early model. You can tell that by the fact that there's a pusher button on the side, and that's used to just jump forward everything on the calendar one day, 24-hour jumps forward. Later on, these references were replaced that button with a sort of oversized pusher, but it doesn't have the button, and I kind of like the button. It reminds me of the Lange 1, which is just an iconic thing. There are certain things about Langes that you just associate with the brand, the big date, the pusher, that sort of brushed mid-case. All of those things for me are sort of icons for the brand, and I like them. I know it's more svelte without it, but for my money I'd have one with a button. It's quite obvious that Lange have really thrown everything at this watch. It's a very high-end caliber. You turn it over, you can see the Saxomat rotor, which is beautifully decorated. You look at Patek's reference 240 caliber, and the rotor on that has a nice little 22K with a bit of Geneva stripes, that's fine. But the rotor on this, they must have spent days producing it. It's so highly finished, and I love the mix of yellow gold and the platinum outer part of the rotor, which I presume helps with efficiency of winding. It's a lovely thing. The German silver on this for the main plate has really oxidized to the point where actually it looks as yellow gold as the outer case, which, usually these things are quite silvery in finish, hence the name German silver. But yeah, this is really turned yellow gold, and it confuses me because it's certainly not yellow gold. It's beautifully finished, and it has a party trick as well. If you're someone that's a stickler for timekeeping, and if you're buying a Lange, you probably are. The one trick about this watch is that when you pull the crown out, the small seconds jumps back to 12, and that allows for really precise time setting. It's a brilliant thing. And actually, we're lucky enough to have its sort of younger brother, the Langematik, with us as well. That's a reference 308021. And it has exactly the same feature. It actually has the same rotor too, but it's missing the perpetual calendar. It's a really cool thing. And actually on a smaller watch, I appreciate it that much more because that jump back means that you have a really, really precise way of setting a watch on a only time and date watch. I appreciate that. I like the fact that simpler watches do one thing, which is tell the time, whereas the perpetual calendar has a lot on its books. It's a lot going on here, but it's remarkable. Lange didn't just stop with the creation of the perpetual calendar, the watch itself. They actually threw the book at the winding box as well, which is just to my left here. I've never seen a winding box quite so industrial. And, it doesn't really do anything apart from spin it round in a circle. But it looks like it would survive a nuclear bomb. It's a fascinating thing. I really love it. It's a really special thing, and I don't know another brand that would do something like that in the same way that Lange have. Very, very cool. So I'm actually moving down in value as I run through these watches. And there's a watch that actually would have been brilliant last week. Ollie called out the I Love Cartier Basculante, and that one was a fairly special one with diamonds down the flanks of the case. And this is its brother watch. It's exactly the same, frankly, but without the diamonds. And I must just say, it's been a while since I've held one of these, and you're reminded that actually Cartier did some really interesting things pre the CPCP era. This is 1997, so literally in the run-up to the CPCP, which started in 1998. The dial is remarkable. I don't know what they've done to the middle of it, but it's like they've polished it as well as guilloche'd it, and it looks like a sort of stained glass window. It's beautiful, it really is, and the Basculante itself is wonderful. This is just a lovely, rare, very special example with a ruby cabochon to celebrate 150 years of Cartier, the brand. Very collectible watch and very nice to see. I'm going to move down the price bracket by another £5,000 or so and jump into this 1601 from Rolex. It's a yellow gold Datejust in 36mm, but it's got some really fascinating details about it. Firstly, it's not a fluted bezel, it's an engine turn bezel, but it's not quite as flashy as you might get with the fluted, or actually the really engine turned one. It's kind of in between bezel. It's also got really quite interesting Dauphine hands. These usually have stick hands on them, and I like that about it. It's been well worn and well loved, but it sort of evokes that sort of 60s and 70s era. And one last fact about it is that it was the watch worn by Martin Luther King Jr. And for that, I think it's a very special example of sort of horological history. Really interesting watch, and I think if you want something that's a little bit different to the 1803 day dates, then I think this is quite an interesting alternative, slightly better value too. The last gold watch I'm going to talk about is this Heuer Carrera 1964. It's a Lemania based caliber, and it's actually a very hefty watch. It's got a solid 18 karat gold case back, and obviously an 18 karat gold case. But it surprises me that actually, because the value point is around £5,000. So it feels like you're getting an awful lot of watch for the money. It has a Lemania caliber in it. Now that is an icon in the watch industry. That's one of those sort of top 5 calibers that you really want to have if you're someone that really loves watchmaking. But what I really like about this watch is that the subtle sort of baby blue indices around the minute track contrast so nicely against the silver of the dial and the yellow gold of the case. It is objectively a beautiful watch. The early Heuer Carreras got the case size just right. When I look at the more modern cases, it does feel like that they've just inflated, they've grown to the point where it's a little bit too large for my tastes, whereas this feels much more dressy. Of course, it's a sports watch, that's a bit of a contradiction, but I think I'm not alone in looking at these watches and seeing them more as dress watches than they are the sort of tool watches that they might have been intended for back in the day, and especially so in yellow gold. I just think this watch has the perfect balance of colour, form factor and history, and for £5,000 or so, it's an absolute bargain. The last watch I'm going to focus on is not yellow gold. I'm sorry to let you down on that, but it is white gold, and it is very rare. A couple of months ago, we had a Chaumet jump hour, a guilloche, and this is its brother watch actually. It's in white gold, it's the jumbo size, it's an automatic, but it's a power reserve complication. So you have 2 hands for the hour and minute, and you have another hand at 6 o'clock which tells you the power reserve. It's an automatic, so as you wear it, it's going to wind slowly up throughout the day and does give you 48 hours of power reserve, which is actually pretty good. But it's all the details of this that are shared with that guilloche that I really like. The crown has a sort of bullet tip to it. The ergonomics of the sort of pebble-like shape, but with a knife edge. Just so sleek. It's a very comfortable watch. It harks back to me to the Cartier Tortue Monopoussoir, the CPCP era with the big blue XII at the 12 o'clock position. That contrasts so beautifully in blue against the white background. There's something about this watch that just works. You know, it's just the sum of its parts. I don't know. It sort of adds up to way much more when you put them all together. It's a lovely thing and a rare thing too. It's certainly going to be enjoyed either by someone that likes the fact that Chaumet is overlooked or likes the aesthetic of Cartier but wants something that's a little bit different to the Monopoussoir. So that's this week's drop. Over 100 watches hitting the site again. Obviously, so many that I haven't managed to get to. One that has caught my eye actually, this is the new beige dial Oyster Perpetual from Rolex. We're starting to see these newer dial colours come through now, the pistachio, the beige, the blue, the purple, and they're really nice watches. I have to say, we'll see how popular they are. We've also got the previous colour editions. So this is a red grape, which is actually quite nice to look back at. These obviously have a bit of a sunray finish to them that's lost now in the latest editions, which are now more matte and satinated. And lastly, we do have a very collectible Zenith Daytona with a Patrizzi dial to it. Really cool to see those. I always love them. But anyway, please do hit the site, check them all out, and I'll see you next week.